drugs and the gangs. How much more can we stand? A drug can take away the hopes and dreams of a mother's plan.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning somewhere out there. I know this is running just a tad bit late, but you know, duty calls. And sorry I wasn't there yesterday as well. I'm here, and that's all that matters, right? And I had court duty today, so case was running late. So, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But what matters is that I'm there now. Well, not there at the station. I apologize. And thank you, Omar, for always manning the station when I am not there. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. here on WLTH Radio, the Regent's Choice. And the views expressed by the callers and the hosts of the show are not necessarily the views of WLTH Radio management, owners, and sponsors. So how has everybody's day been? My day's been busy, eventful, exciting. I hope yours is too, because the day is still going on, and hoping that it is exactly the way you want it to be. And if not, you better get a hold of that steering wheel and be in control. Remember to put your hands on 10 and 2. Be in control of your day. Be in control of your emotions. Be in control of what you think, what you feel, and what you do. Don't let someone else be the captain of your ship, if you know what I mean. Those of you that want to sound off, you can by calling 219-885-1371. And I'm just going to get right into it because it is 29 minutes after the hour. The weather is beautiful. It's been sunny. It's been great. I know that it was a little cool this morning and, you know, kind of gloomy on and off throughout the day. But in Aurora, it's 56 degrees. Baltimore, 50 degrees. Washington, 54 degrees. Orlando, wow, 88 degrees. Houston, 68 degrees. Las Vegas, 75 degrees. Los Angeles, 84 degrees. Barcelona, España, 55 degrees. Celaya, Mexico, that's 78 degrees. Toronto, 46 degrees. Maryville is 53 degrees. And let's see how nice and warm it is out here well, let's see. Okay, well, that's just great. It says network now available. Okay, 53 degrees, partly sunny. So it was beautiful, and it still is. We still have some hours of daylight, so I hope that you are enjoying it. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. here in the evening drive at 5. It's going to drop to 36 degrees tonight. But tomorrow is going to be partly sunny, high 60 degrees, on the low end 46 degrees. And come Thursday, we're going to get a little more April showers, guys. And what do they say about April showers? Brings May flowers. Exactly. So, you know, don't renege, don't complain because we're getting water. At least we get the sun and the rain, so we get a mixture of both. So it's all good. So tomorrow will be mostly cloudy and breezy, a shower in the area late in the afternoon, high 63 degrees. I'm sorry, that's for Thursday. I do apologize. And the nighttime will be 41 degrees. It'll feel like 39 rather. Mainly clear towards the night for Thursday evening. And for Friday, it looks like we're going to have a decent weekend. High 61 degrees, cloudy in the morning, then clouds and sun in the afternoon. At night, it will be 45 on a low end. It will feel like 40, partly cloudy for Friday night. Then comes Saturday. Let's see, April 12th. Ooh, get this. We're really going to feel like summer's here. 69 degrees. That's right. You heard it right. 69 degrees. Partly sunny, breezy, and mild. And at nighttime, it'll be dropping to 53 degrees, high 46, or it's going to feel like 46 at night. Cloudy and mild with a thunderstorm. So we may get some more rain through the weekend, but that's okay. And come Sunday, 58 degrees, breezy and cooler with periods of rain. At nighttime, we're going to get rain and drizzle in the evening. Otherwise, cloudy, breezy, and cooler with a shower in some spots late Sunday evening. Well, looks like we're going to get a mix of everything. Monday, April 14th, 50 degrees, cloudy and breezy, a passing shower. At night, 32 degrees. It'll feel like 22 degrees, mostly cloudy and chilly. So it's like we're going to go up and down, guys. But, hey, isn't that what spring is all about? Clouds, then sun, then clouds, rain, sun. So it looks like we're gonna be all right. Sunrise 6:12, sunset 7:29. So it looks like the daylight is just a little longer for us throughout the week now, which is great because now when we get out of the radio, it is daytime, so light time. It's still bright out, and the sun is still shining beautifully. So we're looking good there. And those of you that is just tuning in and you're in the evening drive, whether you're stuck on traffic or not, hang tight, don't go anywhere. You got something to say over there, Mark?
No, I do not.
Okay, well, you will in just 1 minute because what I want to talk about, I'm sure everybody has been talking about it, and some report has been made, and I know that we can talk about what goes on in schools, and we have our own opinion and thoughts and beliefs and things. And I sent Omar an audio real quick. I know we talked about it last week, and I read it about the 200 student sit-down in Lake Central. The high school student arrested after notifying principal, "We're disappointed in you." So in other words, shut up and listen, kid. You can't express your feelings and your thoughts. Or how do you guys feel about that? Let me know when you're ready to play that, Mars. Don't have my glasses on me here. Give me a quick second. I want to read a little capture of the article that was read. That I had received, and I want to quote, someone. And they're talking. Am I coming clear, Mars? By any way?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay, great. So the principal has said at this point, as if some future dystopian world, Principal Tobias signaled a school officer to take the boy away. "I'd like him removed, please." Tobias is heard telling the officer. Ernst was arrested and taken to Lake County Jail, where he was released on bond the same day. He was charged with disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and possession of a pocket knife and school property. Said the Town Police Officer Chief told the Northwest Indiana Times. The students who participated in the sit-down were dismissed from the building, and their teachers were instructed to mark them as absent, Tobias said, according to the Post-Tribune. There's a right and a wrong way to solve a problem. As sit-in open protest is not the right way, Tobias stated. The principal elaborated in a letter he sent out Wednesday night. This is what he stated. "There is no easy solution when 200 kids decide to create a sit-in within the middle of the school in order to demonstrate a point of view while making demands. Options could range from yell and yell louder, make threats, have police arrest them all, suspend them all, etc. All this while trying to reason with emotional teenagers who have defined a personal purpose, but who also need to get back to class." The principal provided later reasons that the intercom was not used because of the nature of the death and because of the student in question no longer attended Lake Central. Well, I'm going to add to that. I do recall that there were some students that were formerly from another Hammond High School that had passed away. They were informed, the students were informed that ex-student had passed away, including a teacher that had already retired in the past. So if we can announce those things to our students, makes me question that. Anyone who wants to sound up on this issue, please, by all means, 219-885-1371. Do you have it ready, Mark?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Listen in. This is when the kids were at the school and the principal is telling them how disappointed he was.
Thank you. Can you sit down now? You're not in charge here. I am. Number one. Number two, everybody get your IDs out right now. Like little attention. disappointed. And yeah, I guess.
Disappointed in you too.
Thank you. I'd like you removed, please. Still up, better. I'd like to express my disappointment. I understand with me too. And I'd like to try and explain some things to you. Because all of you here right now, I understand you're sitting here for what you think is a good cause. No, I think a lot of you here because it's a joke in your own head. I might be a joke. I understand a lot of you. I understand a lot of you think this is not a joke. I understand that.
The kids are clapping as the boy who said he was disappointed in the principal is being dragged away from the police, by the police. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. What you just heard was
It's done?
Yes, it's
So
done.
you guys heard that firsthand. If those of you that did not follow through on Twitter or on Facebook. So one of the primary functions of school serve is to indoctrinate students to accept a culture in which dissent and free thought are neither encouraged nor tolerated. For the most part, they have managed to do this. However, when certain brave students take it upon their own initiative to stand up for what they believe to be right, it is imperative those students be made an example of, lest the contagious glimmer of hope be noted, received, and emulated by other students. It has been said that America's schools are the training ground for future generations. John Whitehead, president of the Rutherford Institute, has written of the indoctrination taking place in the public schools. If so, and unless we can do something to rein in the runaway train, this next generation will be the most compliant, fearful, and oppressed generation ever to come of age in America, and they will be marching in lockstep with the police state. This was a quote by John Whitehead, president of the Rutherford Institute. What do you guys think about that? You guys can find this article in the media. This is Alan Jones in Infowars.com. It's infowars.com. You can find that. This was put out there yesterday. So I wanted to share that with you guys, to share what it sounded like, what was going on. Was the principal right in saying that? Was he not? Were the students in the right? Were they not? You know, all that is up for question. The students, I guess, could not, I don't want to say they were retaliating. I want to say they wanted to express, just like back in the 60s, Martin Luther King, Cesar Chavez, they all stood up for what's right. Some of our political figures in Illinois and Indiana, they've been arrested also for standing up for what they think is right. I don't know what you guys think about it. You're welcome to sound off here at 219-885-1371 if you want. But I think we need to go to some commercials. So hang tight. Please call 219-885-1371 if you want to sound off on this.
79th Street Barbecue is here in Gary, Indiana, and now open at 1101 Broadway in Gary. Van, owner of Gary's newest barbecue eatery, says, come and try our flavorful variety of hot wings, rib tips, turkey links, beef links, and pork links. You don't have to go all the way to 79th Street in Chicago to get good barbecue. We are here in Gary, bringing with us our reputation of smoking good Q. We are open Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. till 12 midnight, closed on Sunday. Some of our daily specials include 3-wing/tip combo for only $8.99, or try our delicious turkey drumsticks for only $6. Come out and enjoy some delicious, tasty barbecue at 79th Street Barbecue, now located at 1101 Broadway in Gary, Indiana. Do you have a special event coming up? We cater to. Call us at 219-979-8980. That number again is 219-879-8980. 79th Street Barbecue in Gary, located at 1101 Broadway.
Hi, we're the Hartfield Brothers,
and we listen to
Sound Off with E.V.E.
on WLTH 1370 AM.
Sound Off with E.V.E.
All right, welcome back to Sound Off with E.V.E. here on WLTH Radio. It is 42 minutes after the hour. It's been a wonderful, today's Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. Wow, second day of starting of the week. But it's been busy. It's been crazy good. And the sun is shining so beautiful. For those of you sun seekers, I hope that you are really, really enjoying that brightness out there in that sky. And those of you that are following me on Twitter can actually see that. And those of you that are also on Facebook with me, you can actually see that. If you're not in the city or state and don't know what it's like, then that's what it's like right now. And I thank you for joining me here on WLTH Radio via Ustream and from your cars or your home, wherever the radio is on. Thank you for having me come into your home. I appreciate that and know that I appreciate you. But we're talking about students. We're talking about education. How are we teaching our children to be oppressed, to be depressed, to be upset, to be what? And I have another audio that I want to play for you to listen to. And I hope it's not too long I'll be breaking in between. If Omar can pull it up there, you're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. I will kind of break in between that video just to sound off on that. Are you there, Mars?
Yes, I am. I'm pulling it up right now. It's loading.
Okay. Well, I know how technology works. Sometimes it's not as fast as you'd like. But if you want to sound off, by all means, 219-885-1371. Happy Tuesday to all of you. Hope that the day is just as the way you want it. If not, you better control it. Take control. Take heed to it. It is your day. So make it shine, make it bright, make it happy. No matter where you are and what situation you're in, just make the best of it. Let me know when it comes up. Just pull up the volume. This is really important, guys. Pay attention to the words of this person. He'll mention his name, and we'll go from there. And what's the title on that, Mars?
Christopher Emden, teach teachers how to create magic.
How to create magic. How to get the children's attention, focus, interest, liking it, loving it. We're almost there. Is it still loading? It's very important that we learn to do that. We're all teachers, especially if you are a parent. You are the first teacher. You are a grandparent. You will always be a teacher, not just the teachers in school. So I'm talking as a teacher as a whole, but it also talks about the teachers in a school. Is it loading or is it stuck? What's going on over there, Mars? Are you with me, Mars?
It has loaded up. I can play it now.
All right. So hang tight, guys. Just tune in and listen really close to this message.
Right now, there is an aspiring teacher who is working on a 60-page paper based on some age-old education theory developed by some dead education professor, wondering to herself what this task that she's engaging in has to do with what she wants to do with her life, which is be an educator, change lives, and spark magic. Right now, there is an aspiring teacher in a graduate school of education who's watching a professor babble on and on about engagement in the most disengaging way possible. Right now, there's a first-year teacher at home who is pouring through lesson plans, trying to make sense of standards, who's trying to make sense of how to grade students appropriately, while at the same time saying to herself over and over again, don't smile till November, because that's what she was taught in her teacher education program. Right now, there is a student who is coming up with a way to convince his mom or dad that he's very, very sick and can't make it to school tomorrow. On the other hand, right now, there are amazing educators that are sharing information that's shared in such a beautiful way that the students are sitting at the edge of their seats just waiting for a bead of sweat to drop off the face of this person so they can soak up all that knowledge. Right now, there is also a person who has an entire audience wrapped with attention, a person that's weaving a powerful narrative about a world that the people who are listening have never imagined or seen before. But if they close their eyes tightly enough, they can envision that world because the storytelling is so compelling. Right now, there's a person who can tell an audience to put their hands up in the air, and they will stay there till he says, put them down. Right now. So people will then say, well, Chris, you described a guy who's going through some awful training, but you're also describing these powerful educators. If you're thinking about the world of education or urban education in particular, these guys will probably cancel each other out and then we'll be okay. The reality is, the folks I described as the master teachers, the master narrative builders, the master storytellers are far removed from classrooms. The folks who know the skills about how to teach and engage an audience don't even know what teacher certification means. They may not even have the degrees to be able to have anything to call an education. And that to me is sad. It's sad because the people who I described, they were very disinterested in the learning process, want to be effective teachers, but they have no models. I'm going to paraphrase Mark Twain. Mark Twain says that proper preparation or teaching is so powerful that it can turn bad morals to good. It can turn awful practices into powerful ones. It can change men and transform them into angels. The folks who I described earlier got proper preparation in teaching, not in any college or university, but by virtue of just being in the same spaces as those who engage. Guess where those places are? Barbershops, rap concerts, and most importantly, in the black church. And I've been framing this idea called Pentecostal pedagogy. Who here has been to a black church? We got a couple of hands. To go to a black church, that preacher starts off and he realizes that he has to engage the audience. So he starts off with this sort of wordplay in the beginning oftentimes. And then he takes a pause and he says, oh my gosh, they're not quite paying attention. So he says, can I get an amen? Amen. So can I get an amen? Amen? And all of a sudden, everybody's reawoken. That preacher bangs on the pulpit for attention. He drops his voice at a very, very low volume when he wants people to key into him. And those things are the skills that we need for the most engaging teachers. So why does teacher education only give you theory and tell you about standards and tell you about all these things that have nothing to do with the basic skills, that magic that you need to engage an audience, to engage a student? So I make the argument that we reframe teacher education. That we could focus on content, and that's fine. And we can focus on theories, and that's fine. But content and theories with the absence of the magic of teaching and learning means nothing. Now, people oftentimes say, well, magic is just magic. You know, there are teachers who, despite all their challenges, who had those skills, get into those schools, and they're able to engage an audience. And the administrator walks by and says, wow, he's so good. I wish all my teachers could be that good. And when they try to describe what that is, they just say he has that magic. But I'm here to tell you that magic can be taught. Magic can be taught. Magic can be taught. Now, how do you teach it? You teach it by allowing people to go into those spaces where the magic is happening. If you want to be an aspiring teacher in urban education, you got to leave the confines of that university and go into the hood. You got to go in there and hang out at the barbershop. You got to attend that black church, and you got to view those folks that have the power to engage and just take notes on what they do. In our teacher education classes in my university, I've started a project where every single student that comes in there sits and watches rap concerts. They watch the way that the rappers move and talk with their hands. They study the way that he walks proudly across that stage. They listen to his metaphors and analogies, and they start learning these little things that if they practice enough becomes the key to magic. They learn that if you just stare at a student and raise your eyebrow about 1/4 of an inch, you don't have to say a word because they know that that means that you want more. And if we could transform teacher education to focus on teaching teachers how to create that magic, then poof, we can make dead classes come alive. We can reignite imaginations, and we can change education. Thank you.
All right. Now, all of that he was talking about, what do you think it was, that magic? What I interpret as cultural acceptance, cultural differences, cultural knowledge. Get to know how everyone is, to understand where everyone is coming from. So that, I think, everybody is needed to do, to go through, to educate. We're all educators. We all got to learn something new every day. There's cultural competency workshops. There's diversity workshops. And all of those is to teach us how to accept everyone that does not look like me or you, so that we can better understand where our youth is coming from, when especially we have a diverse group that's growing every year in our schools. Teachers, wake up. You cannot teach everybody the same way. We don't all learn the same way. Hope you guys enjoyed that clip that I thought was powerful to send that message through for all of us. So if you don't know what it's like, go and test the waters so you'd know how to approach someone that's not of your own nationality or of your own gender or what have you. You get my message, don't you? You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. here on WLTH Radio, the region's choice. I have just a few minutes if anybody wants to sound off. Or were you speechless from what you heard?
You
I don't know.
have a caller.
Okay. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, I would say guess who, but anyway, before I lose the point and lose the energy that from the person that you had on, and you'll respond to that. I mean, and whatever you hear, I mean, it can be. I mean, there are negative and there are positive. You can use the word magic, and I might use the word miracle, and you know somebody's going to start focusing right there because I'm using the word, and you say, well, why did she use magic? Where is he going to go with this miracle thing? The thing is, miracle comes from, I don't know where magic comes from. I mean, if we've seen reference to it, and it could be, you know, and not to make things awkward or anything, but just so, you know, and I might be wrong, and everybody that's hearing me,
well, you're entitled to your opinion, Doc, so go right ahead.
But, you know, in miracles, at least, you know, and now I'm fixing to bore you. At least I could trace my miracle. I mean, the word miracle are actually used, and their ability. I mean, Lazarus was raised from the grave, and the Red Sea was open, and Daniel got thrown in the lion. I mean, got thrown in a den of lions, and he couldn't eat him. Now, I mean, magic is okay. It might have a long line of back up like when I use Daniel and the Red Sea and all of this. Now, miracles and magic, I mean, and you see where I'm going. And just to stimulate our conscience, because really you always have to be dual-minded. I mean, whenever you get through thinking or looking at whatever you looked at or thought about,
you'll say that we don't have to be, but some will tell you, I don't have to be.
You got to think about how God would look at it. Never, 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 never leave that. That's the only part that I see everybody doing. It's almost chronic. I mean, the whole planet do it. When they get to a certain part of their thinking, they forget how God would look at this. And then the only reason you would know that how he look at it, because when you go through the scripture, it gives you a whole profile of how he look at everything. And once you see how he look at things, and that's why he put himself in so many different situations down through the pages and the ages.
Thank you so much. I hate to cut you off, sweetheart, but I know that some of my callers wait till literally last minute. Love you too, Doc. Coach is going to come on in just a few minutes. I appreciate you listening.
Yes, you got me started. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You continue to listen. Thank you so much. You're listening off with E.V.E. here on WLTH Radio. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Well, hey there, Eve. How you doing today?
Well, hey there, Vic. You got 30 seconds, sweetheart.
That was a great spot. That was a great spot. And I still won't buy anything from Florida.
Okay, and that message is saying you don't know what it's like until you've been there.
That's right. When I've lived wherever I've lived all over the world, I worked there in labor jobs.
Mm.
That's how you know the culture.
You understand the differences of culture. You become more diverse and aware, and there's that magic where you will get the interest of all your students, especially if you have a diverse class where they're from different walks of life. You will bring that magic in that classroom. You will bring that dialogue that's so lacking, and you will connect the dots that are not connected, because there's so much disconnect in the schools. And I figured if I play this and I keep bringing these messages,
just don't stop. You have to keep repeating the same message over and over again.
I'm going to do that.
A lot of people get it, but people actually get turned off. They really just get tuned out, and they just get tuned out.
Right. But, appreciate you calling in. Continue to listen.
Can I share something?
Yes.
Any place I've gone, it's not to say not defend yourself. You always have to protect yourself. But, when you actually have humility where you go, you can go. There isn't anywhere in the world you can't go. Because when you have humility, you accept all other cultures.
Exactly. Thank you, Vic. Coach is waiting. He'll be coming up next. Continue to listen, and I appreciate you calling in and listening.
Change if we're not in a hurry. Okay, thanks, Eve.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. Hope everyone enjoyed today's show. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. Coming up next is Coach's Corner, so continue to listen to WLTH. This is the Region's Choice. This is the best talk radio. I keep it real, about real issues, with real people. Continue to listen. You guys have a blessed evening, and I'll be back tomorrow at 5 in the evening drive.
Why must it be? Through nature's tragedy, we find unity when we come together. Racism, we feel shame. No one wants to take the blame. Through the fire, we all will hang. With love, we can change when we all come together.